Okay. All right. Let's see. Hmm. I'm live right now. Let's see. Hello. Hello. All right. Can I share the screen? Oh, I can share screen. Hmm. I won't be doing that now. Let's see. There seems to be only one person here at the moment. So let's see if I can actually share this. Probably can't, but this, yeah, I can share this. Interesting. Uh, if there's anyone watching right now, I hope someone's at least watching, or this is going to be very awkward, but I guess I'll just post this on X and see if anybody responds. Just casually. Oh, yep, there's at least. Okay. Yes, all right, cool. So I just shared this live stream. So I'm going to see if anyone else is going to come in and see what's going on. Is the audio good? I see at least Glorist. Glorist? Is that how you pronounce it? By the way, hello. So at least there seems to be just two people here. So I'm just going to wait a little bit longer to see if anyone else just so happens to just pop in and show up. Okay. So, okay, this is cool. This is cool. I like this. I kind of like this. This is just me going off my dome. All right. Cool. So, I guess I'll just start a little bit. Hey guys, or anyone's here, it's Manga Man Drew. This is my first live stream that I've ever done, so yay for me. Just this is very impromptu. Didn't think that I was actually going to be doing something like this, or ever thought that I would live stream ever, but I'm here. Also, you may want to just ignore the noises that are going to be coming here. Oh yes, Stello Doe. What's going on, big dog? Nothing really. Just wanting to just do a live stream. Just doing something new. And if you want to know, just I'm doing good. Thanks, Glow. So if you like read the description or anything, or you're just wondering like why I'm doing this, I'm probably going to explain this a few times, hopefully when more people come in. But since there's some people here, I'll just kind of explain what I want to do with this live stream. So hey everybody, once again, Manga Man Drew doing a live stream here. And pretty much what this is going to do is just me getting to know just people in the community, I guess, some of my subscribers a little bit more, and just to explain like what I'm going to be doing with the channel within the upcoming weeks. Like I said, me personally, I'm doing fine. Life is great, but I just want to address like a few things that's going to be going on with the channel, and I may address this a few times within the stream. So I'll just break up like the gist, like what I'm going to be talking about with My Hero, whether or not I'm still going to be doing like the anime reviews, and like what other stuff that I may or may not be doing in the near future. So yeah, that's the general gist of what I'm going to be doing, and most likely a time frame for like how long I'm going to be on the stream. I guess I'll probably be streaming probably no more than like 30 minutes because this is my first live stream. There's not a lot of people like just coming in. That's pretty much how long that I think I'll probably last. But that's the gist of this stream. Just talk about where we're going from here, talking a little bit more about My Hero Academia, and just getting used to the stream. So yeah, that's just kind of what I'm going to be doing. So I'm probably just gonna wait to see if like any more people come into the live stream, and if not, I'll just be fine just talking and seeing like where it goes from here. So I'll just wait a little bit more. Let's see. Stream of consciousness. This is something interesting. Okay, titanium cranium. Yo, what's going on with you? This is going to be interesting. I'm trying to think of like what exactly. Like I have an idea of what I'm going to be talking about. And I could just dive right into it, but I'll wait a little bit more. Oh, I guess I could start asking questions. Who is your favorite character? See, that's interesting. If you mean from My Hero Academia, my favorite character is obviously Momo Yayorozu. I love her very much. But if we're talking about favorite character overall in fiction, that's a little bit more trickier. I will say if my favorite character overall will probably be from my favorite anime, Yu Yu Hakusho, specifically Kurama, because I just really like his aesthetic. I like the red hair. I liked his personality in the show. I like the fact that he's like just a pretty boy that will kill you in an instant. So he's my favorite character probably of all time. But in My Hero Academia, it's probably Momo. And to do top 5 characters, just to go off of that, top 5 characters in My Hero Academia, Momo is number 1. I will say Eri is number 2. Lady Nagant is number 3. Mirko is number 4. And weirdly enough, Deku is number 5. Surprising no one, Deku is actually one of my favorite characters. Maybe that is a surprise to people, but yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks, Glow. That was actually a very good question. Anybody else have any questions that you may have for me? This isn't necessarily a Q&A or anything, but if there's just something that you want to say, you don't have to hesitate. You can just put in the chat. There's not a lot of people here. I'll most likely be reading all of your comments, but if that's not the case, I've been streaming for around 5 to 6 minutes. So I'll probably just start and jump into like what I really want to discuss, which is going to be sort of like a review of what I'm going to be doing for the upcoming chapters and the reasoning why I'm actually a live streamer right now. But just give me a moment. I need to take a sip of my drink. It's Kool-Aid. It's nothing special. It's just Kool-Aid. But hey guys, so the purpose of this live stream is to really talk about what I'm going to be doing in the future with My Hero Academia. Most likely than not, I will be continuing to produce content on this channel. At the very least, I'm still going to be doing the reviews for season 7 whenever the new episodes come out. Unfortunately, we were on a break week last week for the anime reviews, which is why I didn't actually do one. But when it comes to this week, I will be doing the anime review. Unfortunately, My Hero Academia is on break when it comes to the manga this week, which means that for the next 3 weeks after this week, we are going to have My Hero Academia chapter week after week after week. And most likely what I will do is I will be covering the spoilers for the next chapter and the penultimate chapter. So expect me to talk about the actual spoilers when those come up. However, when it comes to the actual like final chapter, this is something that I've done a few times. If you have been watching or watched some of my older content, you will see that I may have done like final reactions to the finals series or the final chapters of a specific like manga that I'm reading. The only real ones that I have on this channel are Seven Deadly Sins as well as Attack on Titan. I did, like, for the most part, like give like my final reactions or my final views of those series, and they are on the channel if you want to go see them. So that is most likely what I will be doing with My Hero Academia. Most likely I will be talking about the final chapter and doing an actual review for it, but most likely my first initial reactions to that chapter will most likely be in a live streaming format, and then most likely from there I'll probably make a video and post that on my channel as an actual video, or it may stay under the live streaming tab, and then from there I will also do a review for the last chapter. So that's kind of the gist of what I'm going to be doing. That's why I decided to do this live stream, because I wanted to get a gauge on like how people are feeling or how people may feel and how many people may actually watch me live stream like the final chapter of My Hero Academia on my YouTube channel. So that's the reasoning why I decided to do the live stream today, just to prepare potentially for that coming in the future. So that's just the initial gist of it. Like I said, I'll most likely still make My Hero Academia content, at least when it comes to the My Hero Academia reviews, as well as cover any like extra content. Like I'll try to cover the actual volume extras that are leaked from the Japanese volumes whenever those come out. And if there is any type of new information, I'll most likely cover that. Most likely than not, I will also be covering the actual anime that, if you didn't know, is coming out, I believe, late October, mid-October, the Your Next movie. And there have been some information about that floating around. So most likely when that movie comes out, I'll also do a review and just give my thoughts on that movie. And from there, I can't say exactly like where I'm going to go from there. That's just my initial ideas of what I'm going to do. But just as a preparation, that's kind of the idea that I'm going with. I'm going to be making spoiler videos for the next two chapters, reviews for the next two chapters, and potentially a live reaction, as well as like my final review for the final chapter in both a live stream format as well as potentially a video. So yeah, that's just the reasoning why I'm doing this right now. And yeah, that's pretty much the information that I really wanted to convey. If there's anything else that I may want to like say later on, I may just repeat that point if more people like come in, and if not, they can just rewatch this section of the live stream. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I see that Glow also did another anime, posted another question. Is there any other favorite anime you have? Ooh, there's a fair amount. I cannot think of them off the top of my head, but if I were to think of like a few other ones that I very much like, some of them are a little bit older. One of them is anime called Shuffle. It's an older anime. It's about it's very like generic if you think about it right now. But there's this guy who wants to like live a normal life. He wants to live a normal life. He's living with like a family friend. His parents are dead. You know, generic anime stuff. But he also goes to school and he realizes that he can potentially be wed to two women, one who's like a god and another one who's like a devil, and he has to live his like life choosing who he's wanting to date. And this is one of the first few animes that I saw, and I just really like fell in love with the characters and the fact that the main character actually ends up in a relationship with someone at the end of the series, which for if you know anything about like harem romance, that is not something that actually happens commonly, but the fact that it happened in this series is something that like I enjoyed about it a lot. So Shuffle is one of my favorite like anime. Another favorite of mine is, if I remember correctly, it is a Gundam series. If I remember, not a Gundam series. It's unfortunately not. It's a mecha series. It's if I remember correctly, it's Full Metal Panic. I really like Full Metal Panic. It's about this very militant guy who's a soldier who kills people, that goes to high school and then meets this individual with blue hair who has a special ability and is like able to like think of technology that hasn't been created before, and he has his goal of trying to protect her. It's a very much like romance series as well, but it's also mecha, so you get giant robots fighting each other. And unfortunately, it hasn't gotten like a final season, and the manga has concluded. But Full Metal Panic is another one of my favorites, and I think that's all that I can really think of on the fly right now. And Stello also asked the question of, do you think that there will be any sequel to My Hero Academia? Okay, that's actually a very great question. I'm glad you asked that. Me personally, I do not think so. And this could also tie into the fact that currently My Hero Academia has multiple different like spin-offs where you have vigilantes as well as team-up missions and like the novels themselves. We have a lot of My Hero Academia spin-offs, but when it comes to an actual sequel series, I think it would be fun if it was, especially if My Hero Academia is ending in the way that I think it is, which that's something else that I can talk about real soon. But I don't think that My Hero Academia will have a quote unquote sequel series. I think that it could go on post what we get in chapter 430, but I do not think that we are actually going to get a sequel series. But if the series ends how I think it is, which is that it may or may not end with Deku fighting off the final villain in the last chapter, and that he realizes that this character is very similar to Tomoe Shigaraki, and that when it comes to him doing that, he'll be able to save him both physically and mentally to compensate for the fact that he couldn't save Tomoe's life during the war. Most likely than not, it will end there, so we won't get a time skip, but that could have the opening for a My Hero Academia sequel where we may be following the students actually going through UA proper, get more crazy hijinks from them, as well as potentially getting to know more of the newer characters that we're most likely going to be seeing in the next chapter, I believe, coming out next week. So that's actually a very good question. I'm glad you asked that, Stilio. And you immediately asked, how do I think My Hero Academia will end? And I just pretty much answered that question. I think it's going to end with Deku fighting off like the quote unquote new villain, realizing the similarities that they have with Tomoe Shigaraki, and then he's going to fight. I think that he will not regain his quirk. That is something that I do believe that is not going to happen in the final chapter. He's not going to gain his quirk. It's not going to be a time jump. He's going to fight this villain. He's going to learn that, oh, I can still be a hero even without a quirk, and defeat him, and then save the villain to more or less like symbolically like come to a realization that, yeah, we need to both treat the heroes and the villains and the civilians same. We need to treat them as people. So that's my mindset. And going on your other question, Stello, do you think that we're going to see Deku's dad in the last few chapters? Okay, here's the thing. Okay. Oh, and I see the other question from Glow. What do you think of the theory of All For One being Deku's dad? All right, this is great. I can answer both of these questions at once. I do not think that we have ever seen Deku's dad, nor do I think that we will see him in the final chapter. I think that when Horikoshi brought up the fact that Deku has a dad, I never thought that he had any intentions of actually showing his father, which is why I do not think that All For One is Deku's dad, because if he was, he would have definitely revealed it by now. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take over your body, son. Because there are so many opportunities where All For One could have revealed that he was Deku's dad. And we've seen that All For One always reveals this type of information when he knows that the hero is at his lowest point and that there is no way for them to come back from it. If he had like revealed, because we know for a fact that he was at least close enough for Deku to potentially hear him. So if he was Deku's dad, we would have gotten it revealed sooner. And the fact that we haven't gotten revealed pretty much is confirmation that All For One is not Deku's dad. I never really hated the theory as much as everybody else, but I do not think that All For One is Deku's dad. And the noise, living on a busy street as always. And I do not think that we are actually going to see his father. If we do, we may have seen him earlier. There was an emphasis on one of the chapters where we got everybody supporting Deku, where we saw an individual just looking on the screen like very intently. Maybe that could have been Deku's dad. I cannot say that for certain, but overall, no, I do not think that we will see Deku's dad, and I do not think that All For One is Deku's dad. So that's just my thought on those two questions. And also for Ariane Renta, did I say that right? Ariane Renta, is there a chapter tomorrow? Unfortunately, there is not. I said it earlier, and this is something that we've known for a little while. This is going to be the final break of My Hero Academia that we know so far. So no, we will not be getting a chapter tomorrow. Well, technically it would have been tonight, but no, unfortunately, we are not going to be getting a chapter tomorrow. But we will be getting one next week, hopefully around this same time frame. If not, well, not this same time frame, but like around like midnight when we typically get the spoilers. So not this week, but we will most likely get one next week, and then moving forward to when My Hero Academia ends. However, something else that I've always wanted to think about, and this is probably something that I can maybe get y'all's opinions on, because while One Piece is a series that I enjoy, it was a time where I covered the spoilers for it. And because a lot of people are covering One Piece spoilers, I wanted to get maybe your thoughts on it. Do you think that I should cover the spoilers for One Piece, or that's just my thought? If y'all think that I should, that's something that I've thought of for a little while, but the issue is that those spoilers come out really early, and I don't know how many people who are following me right now actually cover the One Piece spoilers. And I used to do those for a hot minute, but unfortunately, they didn't really do a lot. But okay, I see Mafia Quad said that I should go for it. Maybe I should go for it. And Retro asked me, "Hey Retro, I hope this is the same Retro that I've known for a while. Sorry, I haven't been keeping in contact with you. I suck at communication with people." But Retro asks, "Are you sad that My Hero Academia is ending?" Yes, yes, I am sad. Um, for as much flack as My Hero Academia gets in like the anime community, the manga community, yes, I will very much be sad when My Hero Academia ends. I know for a fact that I will cry when My Hero Academia ends because story time. The first time that I got into My Hero Academia was when the first season had already aired, I believe, in its completion. And it was around the summer of 2015, 2016. It was around the summer of 2016. I had just traveled abroad to Japan. I just came back home. I was jet lagged. And then I was just going through Crunchyroll, going through just random anime sites, and I discovered, oh, My Hero Academia. This is like this cool little series about Japanese superheroes. And I was just in Japan. And I'm like, oh, I'll just watch this. And I watched it. I fell in love with it because I've always loved Japanese culture and I've always loved superheroes, and they put them together and it was a recipe for me like enjoying the series. And after I watched that first season, I forget if it was like that summer or maybe a few like days later, I read through the entire series. There was like maybe at most like 100 chapters or like around 50 chapters at most at that time. And since then, I've just been reading it week to week ever since, and I haven't really missed a week. I've always been caught up with My Hero Academia. Yeah, because I have that relationship with My Hero Academia, yes, I will definitely be sad when My Hero Academia ends. And when it does, oh boy, it's probably going to be the series that is going to affect me the most because I was there when Bleach ended. I was there when Naruto ended. I was there when Attack on Titan ended. Those were moments that hit me hard. But I think because I've been following My Hero Academia since the very beginning, before it really popped off, this is going to hurt me the most. And oh boy, that's going to be just nothing but tears. But yes, I'm going to be very sad that My Hero Academia is going to be ending. And going on to the next question, Ariane, at least we're getting a new movie for My Hero Academia. Yes, you're next. We're getting that movie, I believe, sometime in August. It's coming out in August. Yeah, it's coming out in August. But we're going to be getting the anime worldwide in movie and theaters around October. And if I could actually look it up, I know we do have some people on Twitter who was actually bringing up the fact that the movie is actually coming out in October. I don't have the exact date for it. I may be able to go to like one of the YouTubers ever on Twitter. He or they may have posted like when exactly the movie is going to be up. But if anything, I'm going to be very excited because I will say this. I did see, oh my gosh. I just remembered they also have this little thing with My Hero Academia where they have My Hero Academia X Pizza La collaboration, and that came at a very fun time with people posting memes of Deku being a McDonald's worker. So that was in fact a I hate that. I hate that meme. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not like that meme exists because I think that it's stupid and I think that it misses the entirety of what the ending of My Hero Academia is most likely going to entail. But yes, My Hero Academia Your Next comes out in North America to theaters October 11th. So put that on your calendars. October 11th, which is most likely going to be like a Friday or a Saturday, the movie is going to be come out. So either I'll make a review of it then, or I'll make a review when it comes out in August when I obviously watch it through legal means. But Yes. So yeah, that's something else. Yes, I'm sad that My Hero Academia is ending. I'm going through them. Glow also asked, "Do you read the novel? Do I read novels or manhwa as well?" So here's the thing: I do not read novels. I'm sorry. I do not read things unless they have pictures in it. I am that type of person. If I do not see pictures in it, most likely than not, I won't read it. I will read comics. I will read manga. I have read a few manhwa. Some of them are too spicy for YouTube. Uh, I've read a fair amount of web comics, so I don't really read manhwa as much, but I do read like web novels. But because I've been a little bit busier, haven't caught up on the ones that I've been reading. As well as even with like certain manga, like I've only been reading like the most recent like stuff like One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, Undead, Unluck, My Hero. Those are the only ones that I'm really caught up. Rui Dragon, because that series is adorable. So I haven't really read a whole lot of manhwa. I've read like a fair amount of web comics, but I haven't been able to like really complete a lot of them. But yeah, uh, unfortunately, I don't read novels. And Retro, it's nice to see you looking happy. I'm glad, bro. I'm already crying that My Hero is ending. Deku really relates with my life. Yeah, because he's a nerd. He is a nerd that is socially awkward, can't talk to women, has a passion that he keeps mumbling to himself about. If those traits are familiar to anyone, yeah, there's a reason why Deku, while my fifth favorite character in My Hero Academia, is probably my favorite male character in My Hero Academia. I think Deku is probably one of the more relatable protagonists when it comes to just like, as far as I'm aware, the character that I can relate to the most, only seconded by Denji from Chainsaw Man for very, very obvious reasons. But yeah, no, gosh. Yeah, My Hero Academia is in fact an emotion. It is an emotion that really, really is going to be showing when it actually ends. So yes, but Retro, I'm so glad that it's you. Hopefully you're also okay. If you don't know who Retro is, he's actually responsible for like when I use the openings to some of my videos. He helped me with like making those. He actually made them himself. So really enjoy the fact that he did that for me. It really gave me a little bit of a push to think that like I could actually do more of this YouTubing stuff. So yes, yes, every introvert can relate to Deku. That is the perfect way to explain like why people love Deku. He is the most likely the pinnacle of what an introvert is. Oh no, titanium cranium. Okay, for me, it's the hospitalization that I relate to. Oh no. Oh, are you? You don't have to tell me if you're currently in hospital, but hopefully now you're doing better. I can't say that I have been to the hospital like for a fair amount of time, but I do know like people close to me who have been in the hospital a few times, and those situations are not situations that I would like to be in. So hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully like everything is going well with you. And if you are in the hospital or if you are sick, I hope that you're able to like feel better and recover. Like truly, I honestly do. But yeah. Oh gosh, this is a lot. This is a lot. And Ariane's like, I still wonder who the mystery man. Do you think that it's Oboro or Shigaraki? Okay, that's something else that I brought up. When it comes to who the mystery man is, I do not think that he is a known character. I think that he is a brand new character that Horikoshi created that is supposed to be a symbol of what it means to be like the new Awful One or the new Tomura Shigaraki. Because the idea is that Tomura Shigaraki was, or should I say, Awful One was created after like the massive like creation and explosion of quirks just going into the wild, people doing a whole bunch of stuff, and was created during this time of instability. And we get confirmation that this time of instability lasted for most likely up until All Might was growing up and how he was becoming the All Might that we know now, because we know that he lost, at the very least, his mother. We don't know when, but this new individual isn't going to be like Oboro, or isn't going to be like Shigaraki, like literally, but he's going to be like them metaphorically. He's going to be the representations of these characters and how society failed them, or that they were like hated, or they were just cast out by people or society, or in some way they're going to be like just mirror images of what All For One and Tomura were, or are in the case of All For One, and how he's going to be the next villain that Deku has to face, where he's going to have to actually save him, not just physically but also mentally, or vice versa, not just mentally but also physically. And I think like he's just supposed to be a representation of those characters and not directly those characters. I do not think that Tomura actually survived what happened to him with Deku, which is a whole nother conversation on its own. Nor do I think that he is just Oboro as well. I think that he's just an original character that Horikoshi created to be a representation and mirror of Tomura Shigaraki, so that Deku can actually sort of redeem himself to save Tomura Shigaraki fully through this new individual, if that makes sense. Wow, that was a lot. But yeah, that's just my thought. And you're welcome, Titanium Cranium. So, and going back for Ariana, do you think that Tokoyami is quirkless? Huh, that's interesting. What makes you think that Tokoyami may actually be quirkless? That's something that I want to know. Because I didn't think that Dark Shadow would disappear just because of all the damage that Tokoyami like withstand, or all of the damage that he took. But maybe elaborate more on that, and maybe I'll have more to talk about. And going from Glow, what do you think about the villains after seeing their background stories? So, okay, I'm gonna answer that question later. Going for Ariana, no, because remember, All For One didn't destroy Dark Shadow. From what we understand, he was able to fire like a large beam of light that was able to do heavy damage to both Tokoyami and Hawks. But Dark Shadow like resides inside of Tokoyami. So most likely than not, the damage like done by Tokoyami like just went inside, or should I say Dark Shadow may have vaporized that version of Dark Shadow, but Dark Shadow still resides in Tokoyami. So that big blob of darkness may have dissipated, but he still like resides within inside of him. The same idea can, because the thing is, we have to remember Tokoyami has the quirk of Dark Shadow. Dark Shadow is not necessarily his own separate entity. He is a part of Tokoyami. So unless Tokoyami has damage to the area where Dark Shadow is or resides, which we do not know exactly where Dark Shadow comes from, but if that area is damaged, then maybe Dark Shadow would be gone. But if not, Dark Shadow can just regenerate himself to an extent. I do not think that Dark Shadow is dead. Ooh, car noises. I do not think that he's dead. I think that he's residing somewhere in Tokoyami, and that maybe he will have physical scars. I don't know how you can have physical scars on like an energy being, but maybe he is dead. Maybe Tokoyami is quirkless. I doubt it, but maybe he is. But that's a good idea. That's something interesting. And going for Glow's question, what do you think about the villains after seeing their background stories? So, here's the thing. I am not a big fan of like villain characters in comparison to other people in the community or in storytelling. I am always more partial to the heroes. However, I will say I do love the villains of My Hero Academia for the most part. I love how many of their backstories, their backgrounds are shaped by like not just like All For One in the case of Tomoe Shigaraki, but are shaped by their experiences, but also shaped by the society that they live in. Like for instance, Toga. We get to see that like what created Toga was just how societal norms are towards blood, as well as just her obsession with blood that is derived from her quirk, and how quirk counseling wasn't the best way to address Toga for her specific case, and how she, due to the society that she grew up in, she became a sort of like self that she accepted, but that society would constantly reject. And because of that rejection, she turned into a villain. Same can go with Twice, how we learned that he lost his parents, he lost his job, and resulted to villainy to get by using his quirk, which is something that you can just say about any just villain, or should I say any type of criminal that you may see on the streets or were caught by the police. They were just people just like us, but life dealt them a bad hand and it led them down the criminal route, or life may have dealt them a decent hand, but due to situations outside of their control, either via life or via like systemic and societal like pressures or societal rules, forced them into a role of being a criminal. And in the world of academia, in the world of My Hero Academia, if you're a criminal and you use your quirk, you're automatically deemed a villain. And like how Twice had to deal with like coming to terms with like whether or not he was the real person, which really messed with him mentally, but he found his family even among the villains. What I liked about this is that we are showing these villains not as just caricatures, not just as like cartoonishly villainous, even with All For One. We see them as actually just being humans. We see them as just actually being people. And oh my gosh, that is something that I just really enjoy about the series My Hero Academia, how the mangaka Horikoshi was able to humanize the villains, not necessarily to a way where you like feel as if like, oh yeah, they did no wrong, even some people may believe that, but that you understand where they're coming from and why they ended up in the state that they are in. If Horikoshi did any great writing in the series, it was most likely through the villains themselves. So I do enjoy the villains in the series of My Hero Academia. So yeah, if that kind of explains like what I think about the villains' backgrounds, hopefully I explained that in a way that is more understandable. And hello, Emilio, how are you doing? So it's true about Toga as a person and a villain. Yes, I very much think that Toga. If okay, the real question is, who is my favorite villain besides Lady Nag? Because technically she's a villain, but she's also a hero. That's the real question. Or even to like compress it, who is my favorite character in the League of Villains? And who is the best written? Because those could be two different things. And for me personally, they're not. The best written villain in my like League of Villains, as well as my favorite villain, is Twice. Twice is pretty much like my favorite villain, which is no surprise to anyone. Twice is the favorite villain of a lot of characters or a lot of people like in the My Hero Academia community. And I think like how his character was handled was probably the best character handling of the character of any of the villains. And if I were to do like a tier list of how the villains were handled in the League of Villains from like the best to the worst, oh gosh, what did I put myself in this situation? The best is Twice. Then after Twice, I would say Toga for now. And then after Toga, I would say Dobby. Then after Dobby, I will say Spinner. After Spinner, I will say All For One. And after All For One, I will say Tomoe Shigaraki. And then after Tomoe Shigaraki, I will say Spinner. Or should I say Mr. Compress? And here's the thing. Shigaraki Tomoe is down there for a few reasons. Actually, you know what? I will probably move Tomoe Shigaraki to be like above Spinner. If I think about it a little. There's a reason why he's that low. So it would be Twice, Toga. I'll probably say Dobby, then Tomoe Shigaraki, then Spinner, then All For One, then Mr. Compress. Mr. Compress is at the bottom for obvious reasons. But the reason why Tomoe Shigaraki is a little bit lower is because while I think that it was handled well, I can understand the issues that people have with the fact that All For One very much influenced a lot of what happened with Tomura. And his birth is slightly responsible by All For One. His quirk is slightly responsible by All For One. All For One taking over his body seems to have taken away Tomoe Shigaraki's agency, but also not really, because they created a new person that is both Tomura and All For One. I understand those complaints. However, those complaints to me don't take away from the character of Tomura. And that no matter what you want to say about how All For One influenced him in all of these ways, Tomura Shigaraki still at the end still made the choice to want to destroy things. He still had that hatred in his heart. It was fostered by All For One, but he still took actions of his own accord. All For One didn't plan everything. A lot of what Tomura did was still on his own accord, but what keeps him up there is the fact that he also has shown compassion to his fellow villains, to the League of Villains, and that potentially he could have been higher up there if we saw him interact more with the League as being friends than with just Spinner, which is why Spinner is right below Tomura, or maybe above All For One. I still don't know. Like, those two can go either way, but the reason why Dabi is above Tomura is because of the entire Todoroki plotline. The reason why Toga is above Dabi is just for the interactions with Uraraka and how much I enjoy Uraraka. And obviously, Twice is up there at the top because it's Twice. And his climax actually made me cry when I actually read it for the first time. And every time I think about it, it just makes me cry. So Twice is probably up there for like the villains that I like the most. So yeah, that's my sort of list of villains, at least of the League of Villain, that I think were handled like well in that order from best to worst. So yeah. Also, Glow asked me something else. Do you think the ending of My Hero Academia would be more righteous if Quirk's power systems disappeared from the My Hero Academia world, since Quirk's is the main source of the problem there, and there have been many theories about this? Okay. That's an interesting question and observation. And I could probably make honorable mention Stain. Okay, yes, honorable. Okay, Stain is up there. Technically, Stain was a part of the League of Villains, so he will probably go right above where All For One, and right above where Spinner is. Right, either right above Tomura Shigaraki or right below him. I haven't decided, but yes, honorable mention Stain. How he went out was a boss. He in fact died. It's sad, but also his entire like plot line and recognizing the students as being heroes, I love that too. But going to what Glow said, that's a very interesting question, because for us to get rid of the power system of Quirks, it would have to completely reverse what it means to have a Quirk in the world of My Hero Academia. You would literally have to rewind evolution as they are seen. Evolution would literally have to go backwards unless you create a device that's like no more heroes, which technically the final villain could have the quirk of like saying no more quirks and could literally get rid of all quirks all around the world in an instant. Horikoshi could do that. And if he did, that would very much be a House of M situation. I do not think that Hori would pull a House of M situation, but while yes, a lot of the problems of My Hero Academia comes from the fact that quirks exist, I do not think that getting rid of the quirks gets rid of those problems, because it's just going to turn out to be like our world. People are going to find another way to try and argue with like, oh, who's better, who is worse. Also, they're going to live in a world where technology is heavily reliant on quirks. So a lot of like the societies of the world of My Hero Academia will begin to like falter. They would have to completely rebuild and restructure the entire world as they know it, which they're already doing now. But if quirks disappear, it's going to be even rougher, because as they were saying earlier, like around a few chapters ago, like this restoration project that is happening in Japan would have taken decades, but now it's going to take most likely a few years. So if we do take away quirks out of the equation, life for the people in the world of academia is just going to be objectively worse. And because of that, I do not think that Horikoshi will go down that route and like take away quirks away from everyone completely. I think that what he's most likely going to do is try to write the story in a way within the final few chapters in a way that allows for society to begin to grow and change and develop into a actual more utopic society where everyone is treated more equally, more fairly, with more equity, and that the cracks that the people fail through will be smoothed smoothed out, will be covered up, and if any more cracks appeared, then they will have like safety nets to help and like save those people before they fall through. Basically, the idea is most likely, while everyone has powers, if everyone used those powers heroically, then everyone can be a hero, which means that heroes will always be there to save the day. That's just how I think that it's going to end. I do not think that the quirks will disappear, but that is a cool idea. Thanks for bringing it up, Glow. And now going for Ariana. Remember that Overhaul had a box of red bullets on that steals the quirk, and a box of blue bullets that restore a lost power. We haven't seen the blue bullets. Okay, that may be a misconception. We had a box where, to start off with Overhaul, and also Overhaul ending last chapter, perfect. He's a whining little baby. The hardest line the boss said was that I'm going to make sure I pretty much scold you until the day that you die. Perfect. Love that. Love that for Overhaul. Best ending for Overhaul. He's a little crying baby. Love it so much. Going back to that, we never got to saw the restoration bullets. We saw the bullets made of Ares blood that can take away quirks, but what Overhaul was saying is that he's going to create quirk bullets that can erase the quirks and then afterwards re-engineer quirks using Aerie to actually give the quirks back. So he'll be selling the quirk erasing bullets to the villains and then the restorating of the quirks to the heroes. He never got to that second part. He created the bullets that can get rid of a person's quirk. However, it was Dr. Garaki who was able to create a bullet that was able to rewind a person to, if they were to lost their quirk, they could have regained it back. However, doing so would have killed you. So, no. We actually did see the bullets from what Overhaul had because they were given to the doctor. The doctor was recreating them. They got destroyed during the first war, but those bullets were used on... Technically, they were used on Aizawa. There were 2 bullets left. He used one of the bullets that got destroyed by Bakugo. Another bullet hit Aizawa, erasing it in the leg, which led to him cutting off his leg. So we did get the resolution to those bullets, but we most likely are not going to be seeing the restoration bullets coming into fruition, mostly because Aerie has lost her horn and has most likely lost her quirk. But that's just how I remember it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that I am. But yeah, I do not think that we're actually going to see the blue bullets that will restore the lost power, because I do not think that they were actually created yet. All right. And going to Emilio, I started wondering if Hero Society decided to remove the hero polls for aiming #1 hero, but because it's time for everyone to see heroes as equals instead of which heroes are better. I love that idea. I feel as if this is going, if we actually get a time skip, that is something that I would like to see. I would love to see, if we do get a time skip, of seeing a world where the hero polls do not exist, because the hero polls are there to pretty much prop up the hero. It's basically, the polls are there for capitalism. It's to show who's the most popular hero, who's the favorite hero, the heroes who are the wealthiest, who are the most popular. Here's a popularity poll in its own. And I think the idea is that there shouldn't be any type of like popularity when it like comes to the idea of what it means to be a hero. What it means to be a hero. You shouldn't be striving to be a hero just to become popular, and the popularity poll is going to be something that's going to be very difficult, if it exists, to really emphasize the idea of heroism isn't about popularity, riches, fame, fortune. It's about doing the right thing. And I think that if we make everyone be equals in the idea of what it means to be a hero, that could open up the route to having normal civilians potentially being trained, which is an idea that I potentially have, especially that is brought up in the final chapter where Deku is talking to Tsukachi, and Tsukachi's like, oh yeah, Hawks can, make a whole bunch of new heroes, which may seem like a joke, But I think it's a great idea if Hawkton actually expand the idea of what it means to be a hero or provisional licenses to be on the level of like getting a license. Like to be a hero could potentially be as easy as getting your license. But the main thing that's going to be happening in my mind is that we're going to potentially get a society where everyone at a young age is trained like exclusively on how to make sure that their quirks are used effectively and efficiently and in a less dangerous way, while also being accepting of people that have more outlandish powers. And by doing so, the idea and the dream of everyone being a hero is going to come into fruition. Now, you won't make a lot of money or any money being a hero, but the act of being a hero would be to save and protect people. And if everyone can be a hero, everyone can save and protect so that you can prevent characters like Tomoe Shigaraki, like Toga from ever existing, because there's always going to be a hero there to lend a helping hand if everyone's a hero. So I think that most likely than not, the polls are going to be a thing of the past, as well as like who's the most likely to look like a villain. All of those polls are going to be gone, and all of the people in all of the world are going to be able to be heroes and be at least on a somewhat equal footing. So that's what I think, Emilio. That's what I like about it. All right, and Retro, it's like I have a test to read for, so I'm going. Good luck with your live stream and everything. Oh man, I wish I had seen that sooner. But if you're still here, Retro, it's good to see you too. Hopefully you can continue supporting me, and hopefully I can try and get in contact with you more. But yeah. Oh wow. I'm realizing how long I've been live streaming for. I've been live streaming for like 50 minutes. Okay. So here's the thing. I may cut this off. Sorry, my phone was going off and more noise is going in the background. I may cut this live stream off here because my voice is getting a little bit hoarse. This is the first time I'm doing this. Sorry, I need to drink that. So I may be cutting it off within the next 10 minutes, unfortunately. But no, this is fun. I really like doing this. So I will be most likely cutting this off soon, but I'll answer any other questions that appear in the chat. And when it comes to an hour, that's it. I'll just end the stream. I'll give my goodbyes and just do a little bit of reiteration of what I'm going to be doing in the future moving forward. So I'm going to look at the next few comments and see what's going on. We have a silver comment. Okay, this is your first comment. I don't think that you commented earlier in the chat. So, hey, welcome, Silver Comment. He's like, hello, I did watch one of your vids and enjoyed your discussion. Oh, thank you, Silver Comment. What video did you watch? What discussion did you watch? Oh, are you talking about when I actually did proper discussions of the chapter, like afterwards? Because actually, that's something else that I can do. I can use these live streams like either on Sunday or the day of and just do discussions of the official chapter. That's actually something that I may do. And if y'all want to see more of this, I may just do it for fun, just to get my thoughts out on the chapter that I probably couldn't do with the reviews because those are a little bit more rushed and like have my ideas flow a little bit more naturally. So I may do that. So you know what, Silver Comment, thanks for leaving that comment because that may be something that I may be doing on Sundays. Or something else I can do is when the other chapters that I'm reading come out, I could just read them and discuss them with y'all on Sundays if that's something that is y'all interested in. So I may do that. That's actually something that I probably haven't thought of. So thanks, Silver Comment, for leaving that comment because you gave me an idea that I may be doing later on in the future. And going into Titanium Cranium. So like how in Black Clover magic is just another part of daily life. Yes, pretty much like that. How magic would be like everyone would have magic. It could be a part of daily life. There will most likely still be restrictions on it. But in the idea, like how pretty much anyone in theory in the world of Black Clover can use magic and in way can be a wizard, that can probably apply to the world of macadamia, but a little bit more streamlined, hopefully. And Emilio, how long you're streaming? Because I want to say my best question for near last. So yes, Emilio, I'm probably going to be ending, like I said, within the next like 7 minutes now. So if you want to ask your question, ask it now. Okay, Silver Comment, you just got here. Man, you just got here and I was just about to potentially in the stream. But I'm glad that you were able to come. I'm glad you were able to see me live stream for the first time. And most likely than not, the stream is still going to be up. So if you did miss anything from the beginning of this stream, you can go back and watch it under the stream tab. Slight tangent. I do enjoy how YouTube does have like a tab for streams and a tab for just videos. It kind of like differentiates them, and I kind of like that the videos that you will see of this, you probably won't see it in my actual like YouTube video unless like I cut this video down, but you will see it in the live stream tab. So that's something else that I never really got to say about YouTube, but I do like that they did that. YouTube did one thing correct, in my opinion, so that's great. And Amelia, another question. Do you think that there should be a last movie for, oh my gosh, in the season finale? Oh, that's actually, oh, I didn't think about that. I did not think about that. Earlier in the stream, someone was bringing up, will there be a sequel to My Hero Academia? And I thought, no. However, who's to say that the last movie or one of the last movies after this one, because most likely than not, let's talk about this real quick. Season 7 is about to end in like another, if I remember correctly, we're on episode 9. There's only 21 episodes left. So if I do the math correctly, we have 12 more episodes left. Yeah, 12 more episodes left. So that's like an entire season of anime. We're most likely going to be ending potentially, because within the next few chapters, we're approaching a very crucial character called Death. And I do not think that we're going to be able to cover like a large chunk of My Hero Academia. I can give, with how the story structure is for this season, we can pretty much predict where the final episode is going to end on. And that may be something that I talk about in a video, hopefully. But we are going to be getting a season 8. And that season 8 may stretch all the way to where we are currently, or we could have a movie or 2 movies, one movie covering the actual epilogue of My Hero Academia, which is going to be 7 chapters, and then we could get like the last movie with Naruto, where we do see them a little bit older, dealing with like the world, and it may be more of like a slice of life movie with like a big bad that could just be a repeat of the ending of My Hero Academia. Or we could cut to the future and see the kids learning how to be heroes. They fight off against a villain on their own. And that's actually something interesting. And we know for a fact that the movies are overseen by Horikoshi. So if we do get a movie like that, that would be very interesting. Either if it's for the finale, which is going to most likely cover the epilogue, most likely, or Amelia, are you asking about if like season 8 will be a movie? Because there's a lot of stuff in season 8 that I do not think that you should condense into a movie, but I do think the epilogue itself could be condensed into a movie. So that would be cool. All right. And now I'm going to see if I can get through the last part of these questions. From Arian, can you do another when the final chapter comes out? Yes, that is the plan. The plan is to do another live stream when the final chapter comes out. Like I said earlier in the stream, the reason why I'm doing this test stream is to potentially prepare for me live streaming the final chapter. I most likely will not cover the spoilers for the last chapter, as to keep my reaction fresh. I'll probably cut myself off from Twitter. Probably will miss work that day as well. If it comes out that Thursday, I'll do it that Thursday. If it comes out that Friday, I'll come out and do it that Friday. But I will be live streaming, hopefully, the final chapter when it comes out. So if you want to see my reactions to the chapter, like unabated, just full on crying, prepare for that to come up within the next few weeks. But most likely than not, I will also be covering the spoilers for My Hero Academia when they come out for the next 2 chapters. Won't do it for the last chapter. Reviews will still come out the same time that they typically come out on, Thursday, Friday, and potentially start doing more live streams on Sundays when I talk about the chapters that I'm reading on Sunday. So that's something else that I might do. But yeah, there's that. Silver Comet. Okay, so in My Hero Academia, they most likely will establish a system which they could allow for people to use quirks to help others instead of themselves. Yes, that is why I think that it could happen. They will set up a system where they can use quirks for anyone to be a hero. Everyone will go through some form of training to be a hero, because the people who wanted to fight against the villains in the war, they did a lot of destruction because they weren't trained. So they're most likely going to get training on that, to the point where everyone can, in theory, be a hero, and everyone could get like a hero license as simply as you can get like your driver's license, because a lot of people have driver's licenses, a lot of people can drive cars, and I think that's going to be a similar system in My Hero Academia. So yes, Silver Comet, that's what I think. And also, I'm wondering they would handle the singularity in My Hero Academia. Oh boy, that can be. Oh, that's gonna go on a, that could go on a tangent on its own. I'm in a Discord chat and they were talking about that. Long story short, the singularity was already addressed technically with Tomoyo Shigaraki with the fingers. That is a whole nother thing that I can't really dive into right now. But I will keep that in mind. Like, what does it mean for the singularity theory in My Hero Academia, and how will it be handled, if handled, at the end of the series? Because most likely, it is very possible that the new villain has an extremely powerful quirk that is due to the singularity theory that is going to be too powerful and cause a lot of destruction, and Deku has to go up against it. That's probably going to be addressed when that character pops up. But that is a whole nother rant that I can go on, that I want to, but I'm going to save that for later. And going on to your last few comments, I can definitely see a sequel for the Dawn of Quirks and All Might Origin being made. We need to see All For One and All Might in their prime fight. That is also something else. We could do a prequel movie to that, because they were saying, oh yeah, My Hero Academia movies can go on for like 10 years, like with Naruto, but eventually the Naruto movies ended. So I think that could be something interesting, doing a prequel, seeing the actual fight. We did see the final hit on All For One by All Might, and his brain did blow up. We did see that, but yeah, we could get a movie about that too. And then Arian, imagine the final battle of My Hero Academia is like a special like Attack on Titan. Maybe. That's kind of what I was thinking as well. It could be a special like that, where it's like the season 8 cuts off and they do oh no, actually no, I don't want that. Scrap that. No, we're not going to do another Attack on Titan. I'm not going to have a My Hero Academia season 8 part 1, part 2, and then a season 8 My Hero Academia part 2, part 1, the final chapter, the final fight. We're not going to do that. We won't. If they do, season 8 has to cut off one place, then they have to have a movie that covers the final fight and the epilogue. That is it. We are not going to do that way with Attack on Titan. I like the idea. I can't do another Attack on Titan. That's the reason why I have not finished Attack on Titan, the anime, because of how they structured it. I can't. I am not emotionally ready for them to do something like that. That's probably something that they will do. I hope they don't. And going on Silver Cats and final comments. Arian, you mean animals getting more quirks and becoming titans? I'm wondering if plants can get quirks because they are alive technically. I think you have to have a brain to get a quirk, potentially. I'm actually not sure about that. Interesting. We know Nezu was a mouse that got a quirk, but the idea is that quirks were like spread through like diseases like the Black Plague. So maybe they were spread through like fleas, and fleas attached on rats, and then people got bitten by rats. That's a whole nother conversation to be had. But yeah. So yeah, this is probably going to be the end of the stream. I really enjoyed the time. I could go on for a little bit longer, but because this is my first stream, I didn't want to go on that long. I knew I wanted to go for 30 minutes to at least an hour, and we've reached that hour mark. So thank you, everybody, for watching this. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully I was able to get to everyone's questions in the chat. Really want to give thanks to everyone here. Aaron, Titanium Cranium, Silver Comment, Retro, who is not with us right now. I want to thank everybody here, Glow. I want to thank y'all all for the questions, all for the interactions, and hopefully y'all can watch me in my next live stream. All right. Hopefully catch you guys later. Bye.